Hey guys, and welcome to episode 3 of my little mini-series focus on Fallschrimjager, where of course we get to have a look at German paratroops in 172 during the Second World War period. So today we're looking at the Italeri German paratroops in tropical uniform from World War II, as it states here, and it's War Games approved, whatever that means, which is fair enough. I'll be using it in War Games, so I have their approval. Good. Artwork there is very, very nice, I must say. Looks kind of reminiscent of perhaps Crete, Fall of Crete, the early stages of the war. You have some, looks like an MG34 guy here, the guy with a sniper rifle on his Car 98. Behind him a chap with an MP40 with a radio on his back. And then another guy back here. A guy with an FG42, the paratrooper rifle, and a couple of guys here in the foreground observing enemy or maybe fall of shell from the mortar, which is back here. So a nice little piece of artwork there, in fairness. Could also be Kos a little bit further on in the war, kind of the Germans are the last victory in the Mediterranean, but I think it's probably supposed to represent Crete. But anyway, the rest of the box then, a little depiction on the side as to what's contained within, as per usual with most manufacturers. End of the box there, usual scenario there, and at the back, paint guide, which is quite nice. These are for the Italeri acrylic paints, but of course you can get the conversions to suit whatever range of paints you use yourself. I'll be using the Humbrol enamels because that's what I use or have been using for the last 25-30 years, and I'm kind of unlikely to change now, so I convert those Italeri to the Humbrol and see how I get on. So that's that. Yep, so there you go, actual size and so on and so forth, and 48 unpainted figures contained in the box. So that's the box. What else comes in the box? Well, you get your usual little kind of warning, you know, don't eat them, and so on and so forth. And if you have a problem, if you've eaten them, post back to wherever in Italeri. You get 3 of these sprues. The sprues themselves are fairly straightforward, as sprues tend to be, but I must say the figures themselves are very, very nicely detailed, very, very nicely sculpted. They're a good, genuine sort of 172 stroke 20mm kind of height. You know, so they match in with pretty much everything. I have used Italeri before in their anti-tank teams. You might have seen that video. I used the British guys out of that. These are done by the same sculptor, no doubt. You can tell by the style. And those figures worked out very well, and they matched in with 3 or 4 other brands I was using for that particular battalion. So these guys I'm expecting would be kind of similar. Here you get a guy with an MG34 with a kind of an unusual turn to the head, shall we say. He seems to be looking kind of over his right shoulder. So there's 3 of those. So basically you have one on this sprue, one on each of the other subsequent sprues. I may end up trimming that head and doing a little bit of head swaps, because there's 1 or 2 other kind of funny head poses, which I suppose the sculptor did just for the sake of variance, but I'll chop and change a little bit, I think, going forward. Here we have a sniper kneeling position, nicely defined scope on the Car 98 there, I must say. Looks pretty good. This guy looks kind of like a unit leader, or maybe a gun crew leader, operator leader, should I say. Probably going to fit in with the mortar or whatever. This guy here is working the bolt on his Car 98. You can see the strap is visible as well, which is quite nice. Also you have the kind of parachute ammunition pouches that are slung over the neck, shall we say, over the camouflage smock. And down here, a guy with a stick grenade and an MP40, nice animated pose. He also has binoculars, so you know, you could say he's kind of an NCO or whatever if you wanted to. Another guy here probably has binoculars in his chest, can't really make out there, but he's kind of pointing in some general direction. Guy with a radio, that's pretty cool. We'll have a look at the back of those in a minute. Mortar, looks like 81mm mortar. The paratroopers did use actually a shortened version of the I can't remember what it was called, Kurze mortar or something like that, but that's kind of a full-size one, but it doesn't really matter. Stand for the mortar there, radio backpack piece for one of these guys. This guy here actually, this guy is kind of a radio operator as well. And then you have a guy with a Panzerfaust. So that kind of indicates a little bit later war. I don't think they would have used the Panzerfaust in Crete. So between that and there was something else that was a bit of a tell for the late war. Might have been the mortar. That might have been kind of sculpted towards late war rather than Crete. But anyway, a guy with an MP40 kind of leaning back into it. And then you have this chap here with the FG42. FG42 is a little oversized, I would say. Having handled one there, well, I think it might have been a replica, was it? It might have been a replica a few years back. The barrel wouldn't be as long as this, to be honest, and you could trim it if you wanted to. I probably won't, to be perfectly honest. Look, I know it's an FG42, I know it's not an MG42, which it almost looks like there from the size dimension wise, but I probably won't be too worried about that. Another guy here with sort of a slightly funny head turn on him. Again, I might leave one like this and then switch around. Again, he's got the FG42 and a little bit long there, but nothing to worry about. A similar story here. This guy has kind of the, is it the felt cap or whatever it was called, the sort of field cap that they used to use, and this guy here is carrying ammunition, and this chap here is just looking around with his Car 98. Back at the sprue then, detail wise, not so bad there really. I think you can just about make that out if I can get this into focus. Yeah, you got your bread bag, nice creases and folds in the clothes, same there, looks pretty decent. If this would just focus, here we go, yeah. That's the other side of the sniper. This guy here, then you have the usual bits and pieces as well. That's the guy with the MP40 and the grenade. And here's the radio operator. You can see the hole on his back there for the radio to slot in, which is a nice touch, to be fair, actually, rather than trying to mould it all as one piece and sort of have an excess plastic and so on. Mortar operator there, yeah, looks pretty decent, I have to say. Stand for the mortar, the aforementioned radio, you can see the plug it uses to go in there. And down here then we have this FG42 guy. I'm trying to focus on today for some reason. Why is that? I just won't do it with it. Try it there. There we go. Nice detail as you can see, but again the FG42 is a little bit on the long side, to be fair. MG40 or MP40 guy there as well. You can see also there's a nice variance in headgear. You have the peak cap, you have the kind of beret style side cap thing, and you have the helmets sometimes with a strapping, like the guy here in the middle and the guy on the left, no strapping, and the next guy here, he has the netting. So there's a nice little variance there. There's the aforementioned kind of side cap wearing individual here. So nice detail as you can see there on those, I must say. So I'm looking forward to getting to grips with these guys. This is the guy with the FG42 with the kind of strange head angle. We'll see how we get on with him. Yeah, so they're all pretty decent, I have to say. You know, there's no major kind of big lumps of excess plastic that I can see. I did have one or two issues with that anti-tank teams. There was one or two of them in the British guys that had a bit of extra excess plastic here and there, but we kind of got around that easily enough. Just see if we can get some detail on the on his face there. It's just not happening for us, is it? But anyway, the detail on him is pretty decent, so you know you won't have an awful lot of trouble with these, to be fair. The light isn't great here this evening, so that's why we're getting a bit of shadow and so on. But I'm looking forward to getting into these guys. These look pretty funky now, I must say. So I've been kind of waiting for these guys for a while to get around to tackling them. So I'm going to rock on and get some of these guys painted up. They are, as I say, listed as tropical uniform, and I think most of these guys I am actually going to do in that that colour scheme. To be fair, there might be one or two additions and subtractions to it just for the makeup of the battalion, but I think I'm probably going to work primarily with these guys if I can as the tropical guys. I'll be taking out a mortar for another battalion and swapping and chopping and changing slightly here and there, but when I make my battalion. But other than that, I'd say it'll be pretty much mainly these guys for the tropical guys, with some Pegasus maybe. So that's it, guys. I'll go on to get on to the next episode of our Foucs and Fallschrimjager series, which is going to be Pegasus. So please stay with it, like and subscribe and all that business, and we'll be back to you in the next video fairly shortly. Thank you very much.